So I used to be the designated broker over here. Recently, I started building this product called Desk. It is an AI transaction coordinator, and it's designed to replace about 80% of what a transaction coordinator does. There's certain things that it can't quite do at this time, like it can't physically enter the listing into Northwest MLS. Um, there's certain custom instructions you can't quite yet give it, but the vast majority of things that a TC does, it can do. So all of you should have received an invite to join Desk. If you search your inbox for Welcome to Desk, you'll see an invitation. You want to just click on the invitation in there to confirm that you read the message, that sometimes Desk can make mistakes, that you should be cautious and ask your designated broker if you have any questions. But yeah, that's how you access it. And then from there, you can access it anytime by going to desk.us. So that's desk.us. And then you go ahead and just click login. And once you log in, it's going to go ahead and bring you to a page that looks like this. So here's a couple of different examples of what you'll see when you're first on a page. So in some cases, you're going to see some red here, which means something is due really soon. In other cases, you see these green dates over here. That means something's closing. And then there's these other dates along the way. So if we click on the calendar from here, you can see all the things coming up for this transaction. They're color coded. So in this case, there's only one. If we go over here, there's a lot of different colors because there's multiple transactions going on. And each of these uh, due dates that has something in it has a down arrow. If you click on that, it's going to show you additional information about it. So there's a little description going on for each of these things that is due. Uh, there's a lot of things that, Desk is, as long as you're CCing the document delivery email, Desk is reading through all those emails, it's reading through the attachments, and it's making sense of the attachments. And so, as an example, some properties, some offers that you make, you use a 35F, the feasibility, and the feasibility has a box that will say that it can auto terminate. And a lot of agents don't realize that they're checking this box, but Desk, since it's reading every word in the contract, does. And so we've had many situations where there are agents who actually have a transaction that is about to terminate or already terminated that they could have known about if they had just gotten this alert and read through this. So in this case, the feasibility approval deadline is coming up, which is different than the feasibility termination deadline. So in this case, there's actually, you have to approve the feasibility to move forward. And so there's all these little notes about the transaction right there and about what this means. There's an action on it too, so you can just go ahead and click this, and it automatically will generate the feasibility approval for you. If we click in, you can see the approval right here. And if we click send for signing, it's going to have this go to the buyers to sign. Now, we currently aren't showing the signing blocks here, but the signing blocks are there. So if you click send for signatures, the buyer is going to get something to sign here. So even though you can't see it right now, we're going to add that later, but you have to trust that for now, that just works. So you can go ahead and just click send for signatures, and then it'll work. You can also ask it questions like, what do you mean feasibility approval deadline? What is this? I thought that was the deadline to terminate the feasibility. So just give you some information about it. There's, in addition here, while we're in a transaction, let's just go through and look through some of these things. So we've got the information about the property, the timeline about it, the contacts that are part of it, and the contracts that are part of it. So we also have this idea, though, that you can just ask a question without having a transaction. So you could just say, what form do I need to change lenders mid-transaction. So you just send them that question, and it's going to tell you need the 22 AC. You can also do actions from this too. So I've got that looks like this agent has an L Street listing. So you could say, hey, please cancel my L Street listing. And then it's going to ask you, just to confirm that this is what you want me to do. Yes, I want you to make the form. So I type in yes. And there's the status input sheet for the canceled. The canceled has been checked off. It's set the date as today. If I want, I can change this date, but it's already assumed these are all the information I want. And then I just go ahead and click set. I click save. Well, in this case, I clicked into edit. So I have to click save first, and then I can click send for signatures. So we're going to do these actions. We're planning on building an app for this in the next couple months after we iron out all the fine details in this and make sure we get everything just right. So you'll be able to do all of these forms from your phone. So this is already a lot faster than using like the autofill form options on like Transaction Desk and Northwest MLS. But now you'll also in the future be able to just do it from your phone. So it'll be like texting a transaction coordinator, a way faster process. You can also take some actions. So like one thing that almost all of you are terrible at is the buyer agency agreement, and I've represented some buyers and I'm finding myself totally forgetting and in the last minute scrambling to get the buyer agency agreement. I totally forgot about it. So we have this button that you can click. So if you click this, I say, no, it's not for an existing transaction, it's for, a new one. So I'm going to put 2.5. I can put a person or an entity. If there's an entity, you get like a signing name and a title. If it's a person, you just put the person's name. So like John Smith and give it, you know, John Smith, just a fake email right there. And then I click prepare paperwork. There's my buyer agency agreement. It's got my 2.5% in there. I click send, goes to the buyers. Now you can do this on your phone right now if you just open it up in the browser, like the same way you can use any website on your phone. So it does work on the phone. Um, you might just have to log in when you do it first. So we also have new listings. So you can prepare all the listing paperwork. So all that listing input documents that takes forever to fill out, you can click this new listing and it's going to do it for you. So what's a property address? I should have come up with one first. Um, Maybe we can just pick one. Well, my first rental, bought this one with my mother. There we go. We thought that was a cool name at the time. Not a cool name. Okay. Uh, and we do that. We're going to put in a price, 500,000, you know, 1% for me, let's call it 3% for the other person, listing date there, and expiration maybe over here. Click prepare paperwork. And there's a lot of forms, so it took a little bit of a second there. But now we have all the forms that we need for the listing paperwork. So we've got the listing agreement here. It's going to have, what the commission to me is, what the commission to the other agent is going to be. It's going to have the seller disclosure statement. So we're going to put a warning over here later. But just know that you probably shouldn't check these boxes. Like if you click send for signing, the seller will actually get this to check all the boxes. So we'll eventually have an option where you can override it and then you can pick the boxes and then the seller can't. But for now, whenever you see a box to check, just ignore it. Just click send for signatures. This is going to go to the seller and they go ahead and sign and check through all the boxes. Same thing for here. So you don't have to fill this out. You just click send for signatures and it's going to go out to the sellers to fill out themselves. Same for the FERPTA, which boxes they're going to check. So you don't really, and you really shouldn't be doing these things because this what the seller should be doing. And then here is the big one, the listing input sheet. This is the one that takes forever, where you have to go through, look at all the previous listings, figure out what to put. So like what community is it? What like breaking up all this little information. What year was it built? Where are we getting these records from? Tons of little information here. All that's filled out for you. Uh, do, 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 fills out all this information, how much covered parking there is, what type of property it is. Um, what the energy source is, the heating, the cooling, where the bedrooms are located, the upper floor, main floor, lower floor, etc. And then the marketing remarks, confidential remarks, those are all filled out too. We like to fill it out with just listing broker may update at their discretion. This means you can just write in whatever you want later and you can update it however you want later. I think the main takeaway for this listing input sheet is, as you know, everything that's got this little circle next to it is a required field. And so all of those fields, you should go through and, kind of gut check them or tell the seller that you think they should double check them and stuff. So that's something just, go through, just be aware that it could make mistakes. There could also not be any historical listings to fill it out. And so maybe we actually just aren't able to fill out a certain section of it. So just go through every single one, make sure you've got it right, save any changes, click send for signatures. So all those things are going to be prepared for you. You just send them for signatures. As they get signed, they're going to be added and updated here. Right now, all these say unsent. After you send them, they'll say sent. After they get signed, they'll say signed. So you have all that information in there for the property. So let's see, what else can you do? So one thing that is a big change is on one of these, let's go to a property here. On these transactions now, we have a new way that we're doing the commission demand. So here is the commission demand. Instead of, doing this over email where we confirm, hey, are you doing a credit to the client? Is there a referral fee? You just type these things in there, click, you've confirmed the information, and then click submit for review. The brokerage, us, we're going to get a notification that you filled this out, and we're going to be able to create this CDF to send to escrow, and it'll also act as our payout instructions. If there's something wrong here for whatever reason, let's say that it was handwritten and we thought it said 3.5 instead of 2.5, and you notice something is wrong, just go ahead and email. The email's down here at the bottom. Just email the document delivery firm email and just say, hey, something is wrong, and explain what it is, and we'll go ahead and get it corrected. We don't let you edit every field, and that's intentional, just that you can edit these fields on your own. Let's say that you forget to fill out the buyer agency agreement because you shouldn't have, but you just did. Even though there's a button on the home page, you didn't do it. So now we have this button here too. So you can just prepare the buyer agency agreement here. We've got this maybe funny, maybe stupid image from Game of Thrones, the shame scene, because it's shameful to forget your buyer agency agreements anymore in 2025. But you read through this thing, you click, hey, in the future, I'm not going to make this mistake again. Click prepare buyer agency forms. And there it is, all filled out for you with the information from the transaction. And you click send for signatures. So there's a lot in here. And this is kind of gives you a flavor of what's possible now. More is going to become possible later. So for example, we don't have like a right offer option right now. That we'll be building that down the line. There's other things that we might not be able to do. So, just realize that this is day one. This is the beta version of this product. There's gonna be tons of little things to iron out. And if anything, we actually want your help figuring out what those problems are. So we give you two ways that you can tell us what those problems are. So the first way is there's this feedback button below every message. So it says feedback, and you can just say whatever you want, blah, 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 click share feedback, just like that. Yeah, so, oh, and a couple other things here to note. So there's a settings page where you can turn on and off alerts. So here's some kind of email alerts that you're going to get by default. When you have a new mutual, you're going to see a list of what's going to be due when. So the moment you go mutual, a couple minutes later, you're going to receive this email detailing every deadline within that contract. And any of these that you click on, um, the septic termination deadline, what's that? You just go ahead and, well, I'm logged in as admin, so it showed me the admin page. But if you click on that, it'll show you what that is and, show you the actions that you can take related to it. Same as this commission demand form. You just click on that and it'll do all of that for you. There's also mid-transaction, you're going to get these alerts. So, oh, the inspection contingency expires today or it expires tomorrow. You're going to get an email explaining all of that. And there's going to be that quick action right here. You just click prepare the 35R, and it's going to do that same action that we showed you earlier, where it just prepares these paperwork for you and just fills out the form for you. So, super easy to do. You can either wait for it to show up and click on this, or as we kind of mentioned earlier, you can just go to the home page and say, hey, fill out the 35R for me on this transaction. And it'll go ahead and prepare that form for you. Then you just go ahead and click send for signing. There's also this closing information here. So, things that are due, like you've got a closing. There's different variations of this. This one, in this case, the agent was super organized and they had all of the paperwork sent to us. They CC'd the document delivery the whole time. We have everything we need. We're just letting them know we're going to pay you. In other cases, there's missing information and missing documents, and we'll let you know about those as well.